Okay. Hey, you guys. I am so excited for today. Let me go ahead and share my screen with y'all. And we will get moving and grooving here. Oopsie. Here we go. I'm going to put y'all there. Present. Well, y'all let me know if you guys can see my screen. Britt, you are the only one I can see. So can you give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen? Okay. Thank you, Frank. Okay, y'all, I am really excited for tonight. Oh, hold on. Okay. Okay. Hey, you guys, I'm so excited for tonight. So over the last couple of weeks, we have kind of gone over how to fill your funnels, how to find people to talk to. We have gone over messages. We've given y'all convo flow. We have given y'all message examples, like all the things. But I want to tell you guys where it is in regards to signing people up and helping people get started on their health journey. The thing that is going to do it for y'all is follow up and is our send, share, invite system. And so I'm curious, who in here knows or has at least heard of send, share, invite? Yes. Okay. I'd say about half of us. Okay. Y'all, I hear often people say, like, I just need a system. Like, if I could have a system, then I feel like I could do this whole Plexus thing better. And that's what we're going to give you. Send, share, invite is our team system. Okay. And so let's kind of walk through this here. Okay. Y'all, this is just a 3-step system to where you can help walk people through what they need to do to feel comfortable and getting started on their health journey. So I'm going to walk you guys through what send, share, invite is. This is going to be a little bit of a quicker call tonight. It's going to be less me talking, and here in a bit, we're going to have some other people from our team share. But let's kind of walk through what this looks like, okay? Because fortune is in the follow-up. Okay. Okay, let me close this so I can see. Okay, y'all, step number 1 is send. I have this written down because I really want to walk through this with y'all to kind of show you guys how I operate in this way. So first step is send. This is going to be whether you send a new reach out. This is going to be whether you send a follow-up, but just for, you know what, and giggles, let me kind of walk you all through what this looks like. Okay, so let's say for me, let's say I send a message to somebody who has commented on a post of mine. Okay. I may say something like, hey, Sally, I saw your comment on my Plexus post, and I just wanted to say thank you so much. Like, sometimes putting yourself out there can be a little nerve-wracking. And so I so appreciate your support. Was there something that caught your eye? Have you ever heard of Plexus? Like, I would totally love to hear more, like if this was, of interest to you or something. Okay. That is going to be the first start. I sent the message. Okay. Now, once we've sent the message, she's probably going to respond back, and she's probably going to say something like, hey, yeah, I saw your post. I've actually, I don't know, struggled with IBS or something my whole life. And so when I saw you talking about gut health, I was kind of intrigued. Okay. Next part of this system is share. This is where third-party tools really come into play. You've sent the message. Now it's time to share a third-party testimony. So for me, what I may do is I may go to her and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, friend. Like, that sounds so awful. I'm going to be honest. I do not relate to IBS. That was not a health struggle of mine. But my friend Jordan actually struggled with IBS basically her whole life, and that's why she came to Plexus. Let me go grab her testimony real quick, and I'm going to screenshot it to you because I totally want to see what you think and if you can relate to her story. Okay, that is share. So instead of throwing tons of information at them, you've sent the message. Now you're sharing a third-party tool. Okay, that's step 2. Step 3 is invite. Well, let's say you send her that testimony and she's like, oh my gosh, I can so relate to her. Like, that has been like my life for forever, but I'm just not quite ready to take the leap yet. Okay. Totally fine. Totally fine. At this point, you are going to invite her to something. Okay. And so here are just a couple of things that you can do. You can do a sample group. You can do an event. For me, what I like to do at this point is I like to get them into some type of event. Now, this can be a big team-wide event, or this can be like your own small personal event. Y'all, I think about a month or 2 ago, I realized that there was a lot of us on our team that really needed something to invite people to. And so I literally whipped up a event with content in 24 hours and held a event the very next day. This doesn't have to be something that's like all perfectly put together and beautiful. It's just something to say, hey, I know that like you're not quite ready to take that step, and that's totally fine, friend. It took me 6 months to sign up with my friend after I heard all of this because I was so nervous. But we're having an event on XYZ day, and I would love to invite you. This might just be the thing that helps like solidify if this is for you or not. And if I sent you the link, would you come? It can be as simple as that. Okay. This is our send, share, invite. Now, I want to take y'all back to send. This can do the same thing for follow-ups, y'all. This is a system that's just consistently repeated over and over and over until your person signs up, okay? So let's say that you invite her to the event and maybe you follow up with her after the event and she doesn't respond to you, okay? First off, totally normal, totally normal, okay? You're going to go back to step one, send. You're going to send a follow-up message. And you're going to say, hey, Sally, I hope you're having a great day. I'm sure if you're anything like me, like as a mama, you're probably just like super busy. Or if you're in college, I'm sure you got busy with homework or whatever. I would love to know what your thoughts were from that event, because like I really value your feedback. Was there anything that caught your eye about that event? Okay. So you're sending a follow-up message, going back to step one. Okay. Let's say now she messages you back and she's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for following up with me. Life just got so busy and it totally like slipped my mind. Okay. I'm going to go back to her and I'm going to say, no problem, dude. It's totally fine. Life is crazy. There's no judgments on my end. Like totally okay. And I would say, tell me what caught your eye about it. And she would say, well, everything was super relatable, but I'm just really worried that I can't afford it. And I'm not sure that I would be great at this business. Okay. How many times have you either heard, I can't afford it, or I don't think that I can do what you can do? I have heard that before. Okay. At this point, you are going to go to step two and you are going to share a third-party tool. So what I might say is oh my gosh, I totally understand. This was totally me at first. I really needed to get my products paid for, but I couldn't afford it. Let me send you over this opportunity video. I think it's like 4 minutes long. It's not long, but I think this may be the thing to kind of help you figure out if this is like really something that like you want to pursue. And then I would send her the opportunity video. Okay. I'm sharing a resource. Then I'm going to go back to her again, because at that point, she's either going to say, yes, I'm interested, and she's going to sign up, or she's just probably not going to respond again, which is totally fine. And then at that point, you're going to go back and you're going to say, hey, I was thinking about you today, and here's the deal. I'm sure you're probably like me in the sense of like, this is probably all really intriguing to you, but if you're anything like me, maybe you just want to try the product first. And so we're doing a sample group, on XYZ day. It's $10. It's 3 days worth of our favorite, like, Plexus drinks. Do you want to Venmo me $10 and I'll send it to you? You can just try it out and then we can kind of go from there. Okay. You're inviting her to try the product before she orders. So y'all, this is our system. Send, share, invite is our system. And guess what? You're just going to keep going in this circle until your friend decides that she's ready to get started on Plexus. Send the message, share a third-party tool, invite to an op call, event, sample group. Kate even had this great idea, like polls on a story, y'all. Like she's so good at this. She does polls on her stories all the time, of just saying like, hey, are you interested in what I do? And then they will say yes. And then she'll invite them to that Sunday night op call. So y'all, this is our system. I know we went through it super fast, but it's because it's literally that simple and you cannot go wrong with this, but this is our system. This is what your jewels on your team have done to get to where they are. This is where your rubies and senior rubies on your team have done to get to where they are. This system works if you use it consistently. Okay, before we move on, does anybody have any questions about this or any thoughts that you guys wanted to add in here? I know we went through that pretty quickly, but does anybody have any questions or thoughts on this?
I just want to add that I think sometimes we get stuck in like or my brain does it at least, where we get stuck in like the send, share, invite. Like I'm like, oh, I need to send a sample, but also like send could be sending a message, sending an invitation to a different event that maybe they haven't attended before, sharing a testimony, sharing a third-party resource, like a video about the opportunity. So like they're kind of like they're interchangeable, right? So you're just constantly working through that cycle. So like there's never a time when you shouldn't have a way to continue checking in on them or following up with them. Anytime that we have a new event, even if they've already attended an event, anytime that we have a new event, it's another opportunity for you to invite them to come learn more, right? So just wanted to add that.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and I think too, kind of bouncing off of what Katie said, like this is something that you can just like consistently keep doing. So like I have a friend of mine who is on the products who has not yet said yes to the business. She's open to it. Y'all, I have invited her to 4 opportunity calls. 4. And she has come to all 4, but she is still not ready. Totally okay. But I'm going to keep going through this process of like, hey, there's another op call. Do you want to hop on? Or, hey, there's an event with a story I think is going to be more relatable to you. Do you want to come? So there's always things that we can be inviting people to or sending to people. So I think that's so spot on, Katie. Did anybody else have any thoughts or anything that maybe y'all
Did she go away?
Invite-wise?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is there no sound?
Ooh.
There, she's back. You're back, Tay.
Can you hear me? Sorry, I'm pretty sure my husband just got on our internet and now it says my connection is unstable. So please, Jesus, let my internet be solid. No, I was just asking if anybody else had any other thoughts, or do any of y'all do invites that maybe we don't have on here that have worked really well for y'all?
Well, I was just gonna share when you were talking, I guess this is more of a follow-up, but you're still basically sending, sharing, or inviting. But when you were talking, it was making me think, and you were giving all those different reasons of a message to send or whatever to people. It had me thinking of this book. If you don't have it, Get Over Your Damn Self. And there's a whole chapter 9. It says the fortunes and the follow-up. And I have all these tabs in it because I've read this book so many times. But there are all these different reasons why you would maybe follow up with somebody. And so if you're ever stuck, I just pulled it out because when you were talking, I was like, oh, I should revisit that. Literally, like if somebody's pregnant, follow up. When somebody says, when there's good news in the media about your product, follow up. Like, I don't know, all these different reasons. There's an event in your city, a new product launches. All these examples.
Ooh, I actually love that. Like, I think that's something that we think about a lot, but maybe don't like put 2 and 2 together. But like, there's always something that is a follow-up, always. Like, there's always something. No, that is so good. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, I just saw this one that I really love. When somebody just like them succeeds, like sharing somebody else's rank up or testimony or something like that.
Yeah. Do you know who that makes me think of, y'all? Is there's a couple girls in Plexus who are hairdressers that have gone jewel like crazy fast. Excuse me. And I have a couple of friends in my network who are hairdressers, and I actually reached out to, I think 2 or 3 of them after convention. And I was like, hey, listen, we have to talk about this. Like, I love you enough to not even let you say no until you know what you're saying no to. So like, there were a couple of friends of mine who were on stage at convention who are hairdressers, who are now 6-figure earners. And I want to know if you're open to chit chatting about this. Cause I think like, if they can do it, there's no reason that you can't do it either. Like, that was another reason to reach out. So no, that's so good. I feel like I do this a lot too, now with people who are in college, because obviously I'm not in college, but Kate and Lydia and a couple of other girls on our team are. And so like when I see them earning trips or when I see them hitting big goals, like my mind starts to spin about people who are in my network that can relate to their season of life. And I'm like, oh, I need to go talk to them because I can share their story with them and it would be relatable. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? Those were so good. Thank y'all. Okay. We're going to move on. I told y'all tonight's going to be pretty quick. So I just wanted to kind of set this like realistic expectation because y'all, I feel like I hear often well, I'm sending messages and nobody's biting, or I'm sending messages and people aren't responding, or people aren't like signing up. Y'all, I have been so guilty of saying those things. But I want to ask, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be spot on besides everybody but Lydia. How many of y'all signed up with your sponsor the very first time that they talked to you about Plexus? Lydia, don't put your hand up because you're like the unicorn of the group. Y'all, it took almost all of us time. So just know that it takes between 8 and 10 exposures with the person that you were talking to before they're going to feel remotely comfortable in signing up with you. And that is totally normal. It means nothing about your ability to help convince someone. It means nothing about you. It means nothing about them. It just means that when you're asking somebody to pursue something out of their comfort zone, it's going to take them a hot minute to think about it. It's not just going to be an instant yes for most people. And that's totally okay, which is why this follow-up and this send, share, invite is so, so crucial to help them know that like, hey, I'm still interested in you. Hey, you told me no. I still think that you would be great at this, like continuing to put that bug in their ear. I'm not going to go too much into this right here, y'all, but these are just a couple of messages that I have sent before for follow-ups that I like to send to people. So if y'all want to take some screenshots of these, you can. But a lot of the times I will just say something like, hey friend, I sent you that testimony. Not sure if you've had a chance to see it, but was that helpful? I want your feedback because I really want you to feel comfortable and confident getting started. Tell me like where your head is at with this. I say that to probably about 85% of people. And it just allows them a space to say, hey, I really loved it. I'm interested. Or to say, hey, I really loved it, but I'm still really skeptical. Like, I'm not sure. And then I can kind of dive into that further with them at that point. But okay, I'm going to stop talking now and we're going to have Katie share. So if y'all do not know Katie, Katie is an emerald on our team. She is incredible. She has this natural gifting of she is a natural born leader. She brings the energy. Her energy is contagious. If you need somebody to help map out your goals, there is not any person on our entire team that is better than Katie. She is amazing at this. And she is the best hype woman ever. And so I asked her to share because she has a really cool testimony of like how she got started in this business. And it's very relatable, but it's also very different. And so I just kind of wanted y'all to kind of hear her story and how this whole thing happened for her. So Katie, are you good? Can you share?
Yes. It's so funny, Kate. I'm pretty sure that Brinley took that picture of me, which is just so funny.
It's so cute.
It's so cute, right? Yeah. So I just wanted to share / normalize the follow-up because like you hear people say it all the time, the fortune is in the follow-up, but it truly, truly is. So I was telling Tay, I was like, yeah, sorry, I got to fix myself here. I was like, yeah, I feel like when I joined, so it's kind of an interesting story. Most of you probably don't even know this, but like originally when I joined under my best friend who was under Taylor. And so it was kind of like a simple thing, like, the whole like, hey, I'm doing this thing, do it with me kind of thing. Right. And I was like, I asked her millions of questions. What do you need, Sissy? A sweatshirt. Okay. Thank you, buddy. Okay. Okay, sounds good. Here, yes, hurry up. Come on. Buddy, she's right here. Can you take her? Sorry. Yes, she's ready. Okay, sorry. I told them I had to take the kids outside, but they forgot sweatshirts. So, and so, it was kind of like, you're going to do this thing. And I was like, okay, okay. I asked her like a million questions, my best friend at the time. Well, she's still my best friend, but I asked her millions of questions and she was brand new at this. Taylor was fairly brand new at this. And so it kind of trickled up to the point where they were asking Jordan Roddenberry, who's Taylor's sponsor, questions that I was asking. And then for me, like when I clicked join, then all of a sudden I got like super excited and like my belief was through the roof because I was like, when is it going to be here? I was so excited. Like I had been skeptical. I'd asked all the questions, but then I was like so fired up once I had clicked join and I knew it was coming. And then like I used the products and I didn't have like a wild health transformation, but I also didn't have any wild health goals. Like I was like not someone who had tons of things that I was looking for support in. But I also was just like, even like after the first month, I honestly noticed nothing. And if you heard me tell my testimony, I always say that, like, I didn't notice anything the first month, like at all, but I was already like sharing about it because I was like, I know that this is going to work. And I know that like it will work for other people that do have really big health goals. And so I started to kind of like share about it, but I was definitely like not in for the business. Right. And so second month started to notice like the small changes that added up to big things. You've all probably heard my story about that. But, and at that point, Jordan and Taylor were kind of like connecting with me outside of my connection that I had with my best friend, who was kind of like brand new too, right? And so this is called taprooting, and this is super, super important. So at that time, I was Taylor's level 2 and Jordan's level 3, but they were both just connecting with me as if I was their own level 1, each of them separately, like not even in a 3-way message. They were just like connecting with me. They both believed massively in me because I was just hungry and I was asking like those right questions, you know? And so I was curious when, and of course, people were dripping the business on me, right? Not my own love, not my own sponsor at all, because she was so brand new and she really didn't like, I don't think either one of us necessarily thought this would be a business, but Taylor dripped it on me, Jordan dripped it on me. And so then I'm starting to ask like questions, but it was a lot of them pouring into me and less of me showing any interest at all in doing the business. In fact, Taylor ran a Facebook event for me, and you know, Taylor, again, she's not my current, like not my, what is the word I'm saying? My closest upline. I was her level 2. She threw a Facebook event for me. I didn't even attend my own event. I didn't even tune into the live. Don't tell anybody that. I didn't even tag people in it. Like I was busy. We were like out of town or something. I don't know. I didn't even attend it. And then like the next day I felt guilty. So I went on like a tag spree and I just like tagged people in like random stuff. And, you know, that is how like checked out I was. I was like, I am not doing this business. But like I had gotten on the phone with Taylor. And if you've ever been on the phone with Taylor, she's just like so sweet. And like, I don't know, she just like talked me into it. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this thing. I don't really want to do this thing, but I'm just going to do it. So she'll get off my back and like, you know, just whatever. Right. So, but I only continued on after that. I don't think I had anybody sign originally right after my event, but I only continued on after that. And it's important, that part is important and funny to say. I only did because both Taylor and Jordan were pouring belief and vision and like hyping me up, you know? So right after I got started, there was this gold contest and it was like, you're going to be there. You're coming to Arizona with us. And I was like, what? I don't even know what gold is. Like, what are you talking? Like, but then I'm like, of course, I like finished reading that text and I'm like searching on the website, like, what is gold? Because I don't know. And Tara, my original sponsor, like, she didn't know either. And I was like too prideful to be like, what's gold to them directly. So I'm like searching things, but that's how I learned so many things. Like I use the Help Center like crazy. And so I can guarantee you that if you have a downline right now, you have somebody in your downline, in your virtual office right now that you could be connecting with, whether it's a level 2 or level 4 or level 7, that has, you maybe have no idea, but you're like, man, there's just a thing about them. Or maybe you've connected with them on Facebook and you love their presence on Facebook. And you're like, I mean, I don't really know. Go introduce yourself and tell them, hey, I'm so-and-so's friend. You know, I'm Brittany's on my Plexus team or whatever it might be. Because truly, I didn't know Jordan or Taylor at all. Like I had never met them. And in fact, the first time I met both of them was on a Plexus event. Like I showed up at a Plexus event and I was like, oh, hey, like I'm on your team, you know, like, but like I already knew that they believed massively in me. So rooting is what that's called, kind of that digging in. And I wouldn't be here if it weren't for that, if it weren't for them pouring belief into me, following up with me, answering all my silly questions and not making me feel like they were silly at all, and being so truthful. And like when Taylor and Tara, my original sponsor, were both brand new, they were so honest and they're like, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to find out. And for me, that was authentic and that's one of my core values. And so that was super duper important. And so no matter if you're just brand new starting out or you've been here for a long time, highly recommend looking in and just go connect with everybody. If you have 5 people on your team, go connect with all of them. Go start following them on Facebook and commenting and engaging and just talking to them, they might be like, I'm obsessed with triplex. I've never felt better. And you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. And you maybe don't if they're not your level one direct downline. So yeah, that's a little bit about like how I got started and why I'm still here. And yeah, I'm so glad that they taprooted into me because I joined in June and my sponsor totally quit the business in October when she had her baby. And if I wouldn't have already been connected, I would have probably just fizzled out too, because my direct link to everybody was no longer working the business anymore. So yeah.
I could not find the unmute button. Obviously, that's why I went backwards. Thank you, Katie, for sharing that. And actually, you answered the question that I was going to ask. Like, I was going to ask you, like, when your direct sponsor, your old direct sponsor, fell off and decided to not pursue the business, if you wouldn't have been taprooted into, would you still have stayed? And you kind of answered that, like, maybe, but probably not. Like, there is a sense of like culture and community here. And I think that is so, so important. Like Katie hit the nail on the head. Like, if you guys have people on your team who you think would be great at this, or even if you don't know them, y'all, everybody in your downline is on your team. And so like talk to them, build that relationship with them. Because that is why Katie stayed. She had a community outside of her best friend and me and Jordan and other people. And so there was that trust and that confidence there that she could still go places, even if her direct sponsor didn't pursue this any longer. Is that fair, Katie?
Yes, 100%. I think like, and my direct sponsor, she didn't like say, oh, I'm quitting the business, but she just like had a baby, fizzled out, right? And so it could have just been easy for me to like not stay connected, because and then she wasn't sending me the Zoom links anymore, but I didn't need her to directly send them to me anymore because I was in a thread and I was taking the initiative on my own, and other people were checking in on me. Like if I wasn't if I didn't know what to do, somebody else was like, hey, we have this call tonight, we'd love to see you there. And so like I totally felt embedded within the community, even before, like even when she left. And then I also wanted to add, I forgot to mention this, like a lot of times people in this Plexus community think that Marissa's my level one, but a lot of times people think that we've been like lifelong friends because we've gotten so close, and we just, I mean, I just love you. But a lot of times people think that like we were lifelong friends. We didn't know each other either when we started Plexus. Like Taylor didn't know my friend Tara, who she ended up signing up, and then I signed up under Tara. And I didn't know Marissa at all. Like I'd never met her before. We got connected through like a legging party or something, and then we connected on Facebook. And then I followed up with her like a freaking mad woman until she finally signed up, right? And just like in the get over your damn self thing, her like thing was like, oh yeah, after I have this baby. So you better believe when I saw that maternity post or whatever, baby's here post, I waited a day or so, and then I was like, hey, let's do this, right? So I just think it's really unique because a lot of times there are teams that it's like all their best friends do it. None of my best friends do Plexus, but like, that's okay. So anyways.
Okay. I'm sorry. Can I just add something to this really quick? Just about the three-way like messages in the taprooting, because on my team personally too, I've had a lot of level ones that fizzle out, but I've been able to carry a team still with some level ones, but with a lot of level twos and threes that continue to work, I think because of the relationship built. And so part of how that happens is during when you are like teaching somebody how to get started is, well, you teach them to do three-way messages so that you can help them be incorporated in the community that you've built within Plexus. But then also that is teaching your new VIP to also do that with their VIPs that get started. So then that's already setting them up for success, when they're helping people get started to learn how to share, because they're able to have that relationships with people on their team that don't sign up with them, but they're a part of their organization. So it all trickles down. And it's so powerful. It's been a huge piece of all of our story to have this community with people that are not your direct signups. And so anyway, I just wanted to sort of reiterate like the power that community holds in something like this.
Thank y'all so much for sharing that. That is so spot on. And y'all, I'm going to tell y'all something, and I do not mean this pridefully at all, but taprooting is so important because you do not know who you are going to find. Jordan, myself, Katie, and Marissa are all jewels. Okay. And like, if Jordan would not have reached out to me, I would not be here. If I would not have tapped root down into Katie, who was my level 2, she may not be here and she would not be a jewel. If she wouldn't have been bold and messaged Marissa like a mad woman, and like immediately when she had her daughter Lily and Katie was like right there in front of her face, like she wasn't being weird or salesy, but like she knew that like she needed these products. If she would not have been on her, Marissa may not hear and she may not be a jewel either. And so like you guys have 4 uplines who are all jewels because they were all willing to get uncomfortable, message somebody that they did not know, or taproot down into somebody that they did not know. And because of that, their lives are now forever changed. So just know that like follow-ups and taprooting have the potential to change not only everything for you, but for the person that you're talking to also. Katie, thank you so much. Okay. Next, I want to hear from my friend Whitney. Okay, y'all, Whitney is one. I do not know her that well, but from what I do know of her, I feel like we would be besties in real life. I love her. And I just think she's very humble, and I know a little bit of how she was able to kind of get started on the products and on the business, but I also really wanted her to kind of share her story with this. She kind of told me a little bit of it, but what she told me was so powerful. And so Whit, if you are free, I would love for you to kind of share what your journey kind of looked like. I know the unmute button is not easy to find. I have been struggling all night. I will unmute you if I can figure out how.
Good God, goodness. Sorry about that. Okay, so hi, I'm Whitney. That was so hard. Okay, so yeah, so like I started Marissa reached out to me. What was it, back in January? I started following her on Instagram, and I was like, man, who is this person? She's so happy all the time, and I was super like I was engaged. Well, she reached out numerous times, and I finally, well, it took a while. It took about 3 months, for me to finally, say yes. But the thing is, though, is Marissa was so kind and not salesy, and was genuinely like coming from a place of like, hey, this is something that like if I don't share it with you, I'm going to do you a disservice. So and with the things that was happening with me, my story is kind of similar to Jordan's. I struggled with IBS, and like severely. Like I was in and out. Actually, when I first started taking Plexus, I had to have a colonoscopy done. I had taken some really strong medication, and it was wild. But the way that Marissa spoke with me, it was just easy. It was so easy, and she helped me to, play with the different amounts of, stuff I should be taking, the pills that I should be taking, how it was going to help me. And it was just really easy to have the conversation with her. So it just felt, I don't know, felt right, I guess.
Yeah. I would love to know what, like, because you had mentioned that like she wasn't salesy at all and that she approached you in a way that was just really easy. What were some things that she did? Because I know that like a lot of people here probably have this fear, and I think it's totally normal. I think we've all had this, but like we don't want to come across salesy. We don't want to come across pushy. We don't want to come
Right.
across weird. So like what were some things that she did for you that made it the total opposite of like what we don't want to come across like?
Like she acknowledged, like honestly, something I did notice that caught my attention is even when I would like literally was ghosting her, like I wasn't responding to messages, she would still like my stories, and she would still comment on how cute my kids were. You know what I mean? And it made me feel seen, I guess. It was just really And then when we would have conversations, it was like a friend. It truly was. Like, it was just the conversation flowed just so organically, I would say. Like, really organically.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's so funny that you say that too, because I think it was last week, maybe we were talking about this, or the week before. It was one of the weeks where we had talked about like, you have to be willing to like build a friendship with these people, like even outside of Plexus, like go into talk, like sharing about Plexus with the mindset of like, even if they never said yes to Plexus, I would still want to be in their life. I would still want to be their friend. And I think when you come from a place, and like totally give me like your thoughts on this, but I think when you come from a place of like that mindset, people can tell that like you are genuine and that you're not just trying to push something on them. It's like, hey, I'm coming to you because I love you. And I'm like, I can tell that like you're struggling and I genuinely want to help. And it just gets like a
Absolutely.
different vibe,
Oh,
right?
totally. Like, I feel like this community is like none like any other, honestly. It's just so loving and kind, and like you are helping each other out. Like, I mean, I just had my first live event and you were there, and Katie was there, and Marissa, and Jordan was there. And it just, it's about helping each other out, and being a friend. So I definitely think like having conversations, like, I'm still learning, like, really, like, I'm so new to all of this. Like, I really have no idea what I'm doing. But I mean, something I'm learning is definitely, you just to have fun with it. And, you're helping. You are trying to sell something, but like, it's something so good for you. So it's not like, it's a win-win.
Yes. I love that. Okay. I have one more question for you. If you had to give one piece of advice to somebody who was worried that they were going to come across as salesy or pushy, like in their follow-ups, and that's why they were nervous to like keep following up with people maybe who haven't like responded like to them, or maybe they've been in conversation and it just like died off and they're afraid of coming across salesy or pushy, what would your one piece of advice to them be?
Stop thinking about it so much and just have fun with the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling that to myself, because like sometimes I overthink it and I'm like, oh my God, what should I say? Like, I just have fun with it. Like, you're helping them, and respond in a way that's going to make them feel comfortable and acknowledge what they're saying. I think that's really important too.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm totally with you. I told her earlier, we were in conversation and she was giving me like, I was sending her a voice message and she sent one back. And at some point I literally just like messaged her back and I said, okay, future Jewel. And that was all that I said. Cause I was
And
like,
I said, I receive it.
I receive it. And I was like, ah, I love you. Cause it's
So
just,
I
I
love
mean,
you guys. I have to hop off. I have to go finish my CPR training.
oh my gosh, I love it. Bye, friend. Thank you for sharing.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Okay, y'all, I'm going to stop sharing because that was the last of our slideshow. But does anybody have any thoughts or questions or feedback, or maybe anything that your sponsor did with you that you wanted to share that you feel like was really pivotal in helping you guys get enrolled? Sometimes I feel like y'all just giving feedback is like the best way for us to kind of learn from each other. So does anybody have anything that they want to share before we go? You're all looking real cute. Lacey's like all dressed up and has lipstick on and like, yes, you look cute. Stop it. Yes, you do. Okay, y'all. Well, if you guys don't have anything else, I'm going to stop recording.